Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderón, known to the world simply as Frida Kahlo, was born on July 6, 1907, in Coyoacán, a small town on the outskirts of Mexico City. Kahlo's life was deeply rooted in her Mexican heritage, which she proudly expressed throughout her life and work. Her father, Guillermo Kahlo, was a German immigrant, a photographer by profession, and an artist at heart. Her mother, Matilde Calderón y González, was of indigenous and Spanish descent, a devout Catholic who instilled in Frida a complex understanding of faith, tradition, and the vibrant culture of Mexico. Frida was the third of 4 daughters, growing up in the shadow of the Mexican Revolution, an event that shaped her political views and artistic expression. She was deeply connected to her father, who nurtured her creativity and intellectual curiosity. Despite her often strained relationship with her mother, Frida's familial bonds were a significant influence on her art, with her works frequently reflecting themes of family, identity, and suffering. Kahlo's life was marked by physical suffering from an early age. At 6, she contracted polio, which left her with a withered leg and a lifelong limp. Despite this, she was a vibrant and spirited child, determined not to let her disability define her. Her father encouraged her to engage in sports, an uncommon pursuit for girls at the time, to strengthen her weakened leg. She took up boxing, swimming, and even wrestling, cultivating a fierce independence and resilience that would later define her life and work. Kahlo's dreams of becoming a doctor were shattered at the age of 18, when she was involved in a near-fatal bus accident in 1925. A metal handrail impaled her pelvis, fracturing her spine and pelvis, and leaving her bedridden for months. This accident marked a turning point in her life, plunging her into a world of chronic pain and endless surgeries. It was during her convalescence that Frida began to paint. Unable to leave her bed, her mother brought her a specially made easel and a mirror, allowing her to paint while lying down. This period of intense physical suffering also marked the birth of Kahlo's distinctive artistic style, characterized by raw emotion, vivid colors, and a deep exploration of personal and cultural identity. Kahlo's early works were largely self-portraits, a genre that would dominate her artistic output. She once said, "I paint myself because I am so often alone, and because I am the subject I know best." Her self-portraits are not mere representations of her physical appearance, but rather profound explorations of her inner life, capturing her pain, suffering, and resilience. In these early works, Kahlo began to develop the visual language that would come to define her art, a combination of surrealism, symbolism, and traditional Mexican folk art. One of her first significant works, Self-Portrait in a Velvet Dress, 1926, was a gift for her first love, Alejandro Gómez Arias, whom she met at the prestigious National Preparatory School. The portrait, influenced by European Renaissance art, shows a young Kahlo with long flowing hair, dressed in a regal gown, gazing directly at the viewer. This work marked the beginning of Kahlo's lifelong preoccupation with self-portraiture and the exploration of her own identity. In 1929, Kahlo married the renowned Mexican muralist Diego Rivera, a relationship that would profoundly shape her life and work. Rivera was 20 years her senior and already an established artist, known for his monumental murals that depicted the struggles of the Mexican people. Their marriage was tumultuous, marked by infidelities on both sides, passionate love, and fierce arguments. Despite the turmoil, Rivera was a significant influence on Kahlo's artistic development, encouraging her to embrace her Mexican heritage and incorporate it into her work. Kahlo's art began to mature during this period, as she moved away from the European influences of her early works and developed a more distinctive personal style. Her paintings became more symbolic and autobiographical, reflecting her physical and emotional pain, her complex relationship with Rivera, and her deep connection to Mexican culture. Works like Frida and Diego Rivera, 1931, and The Two Fridas, 1939, explore the duality of her identity and the emotional toll of her marriage. The Two Fridas, one of her most famous works, depicts 2 versions of herself, one in a European-style white dress with a broken heart, and the other in traditional Tehuana dress, representing her indigenous heritage. The 2 Fridas are connected by a blood vessel, symbolizing the connection between her dual identities and the pain caused by her relationship with Rivera. This painting is a powerful exploration of Kahlo's inner turmoil and her struggle to reconcile the different aspects of her identity. Kahlo's art was deeply intertwined with her political beliefs and her love for Mexico. She was a committed communist, joining the Mexican Communist Party in 1927, and her political ideology was reflected in her art. She saw herself as a champion of the oppressed and a defender of Mexico's indigenous culture and traditions. Her paintings often incorporate symbols of Mexican folklore, pre-Columbian art, and religious imagery, celebrating the rich cultural heritage of her country. Kahlo's house, La Casa Azul, the Blue House, in Coyoacán, became a gathering place for artists, intellectuals, and political activists. She and Rivera were friends with many prominent figures of the time, including Leon Trotsky, who lived with them in exile for a period. Kahlo's commitment to social justice and her pride in her Mexican heritage are evident in works like Self-Portrait on the Borderline Between Mexico and the United States, 1932, where she contrasts the industrialized, capitalist United States with the vibrant, traditional culture of Mexico. Her political beliefs also influenced her personal life, leading to her involvement in various social causes and her support for workers' rights, feminism, and indigenous rights. Kahlo's art became a means of expressing her defiance against oppression, colonialism, and the marginalization of women. Kahlo's life was a constant battle with physical pain, which intensified in her later years. The injuries from the bus accident plagued her throughout her life, leading to numerous surgeries and periods of immobilization. In the early 1940s, her health deteriorated further, with multiple surgeries on her spine and foot, and she became increasingly dependent on painkillers. Despite this, Kahlo continued to paint, often using her art to confront her suffering and mortality. Her later works are darker, more introspective, and often depict themes of death, pain, and suffering. Paintings like The Broken Column, 1944, and Without Hope, 1945, starkly portray her physical agony and emotional despair. In The Broken Column, Kahlo's body is depicted as split open, with a shattered column replacing her spine, symbolizing the unbearable pain she endured. Her vulnerability is laid bare, yet she faces the viewer with the same unwavering gaze that characterizes much of her work. Despite her declining health, Kahlo remained active in the art world, participating in exhibitions and continuing to create powerful, evocative works. In 1953, she had her first solo exhibition in Mexico, organized by the prominent gallery owner Lola Alvarez Bravo. Though bedridden at the time, Kahlo attended the opening in an ambulance, lying in a four-poster bed placed in the gallery. Her determination to be present at the exhibition, despite her condition, is a testament to her indomitable spirit and passion for art. Frida Kahlo died on July 13, 1954, at the age of 47, likely from a pulmonary embolism, although there has been speculation about a possible suicide. Her death marked the end of a life filled with passion, pain, and artistic brilliance. However, it was only after her death that Kahlo truly became an international icon. For many years, she was overshadowed by Rivera, and her work was not widely recognized outside of Mexico. It wasn't until the feminist movement of the 1970s that Kahlo's art began to gain widespread acclaim, as women artists and scholars rediscovered her work and celebrated her as a symbol of female creativity, resilience, and defiance. Kahlo's legacy has since grown to monumental proportions. She is now regarded as one of the most important artists of the 20th century, her work celebrated for its emotional depth, vivid color, and exploration of identity, gender, and Mexican culture. Her self-portraits have become iconic, representing the strength and vulnerability of women, the complexities of identity, and the enduring human spirit. In 2002, her life was immortalized in the film Frida, starring Salma Hayek, which brought her story to a global audience and solidified her status as a cultural icon. Kahlo's image, with her distinctive unibrow, traditional Mexican dress, and elaborate hairstyles, has become a symbol of feminist and LGBTQ+ movements, as well as a representation of Mexican identity. La Casa Azul, her childhood home and the place where she spent much of her life, is now the Frida Kahlo Museum, attracting visitors from around the world who come to pay homage to the artist who transformed her pain into profound beauty. Her work continues to inspire artists, activists, and anyone who has faced adversity, reminding us that out of suffering can come incredible strength and creativity. Frida Kahlo's life and art are a testament to the power of resilience, creativity, and self-expression. Through her vivid and emotive paintings, she explored themes of identity, pain, and culture, leaving behind a legacy that transcends time and borders. Kahlo's art remains a powerful and enduring symbol of the struggles and triumphs of the human spirit, and her influence continues to resonate with audiences around the world. As an artist, activist, and cultural icon, Frida Kahlo's story is one of extraordinary passion, courage, and an unyielding commitment to living life on her own terms.